Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, we're getting ready to start. I just want to make sure we go live. Good morning, Brent. How are you? Welcome. I thought you were taking a day off on social media, but welcome. And let me give Emily the co-host. Hey, Emily, I gave you the co-host feature. Let me, there we go. Let's get Terry on here too. And again, we are live streaming and recording, so I just have to give everyone full disclosure. It's going to be streamed through Facebook, Twitch, Twitter Live, and YouTube. And that after this, we're going to be cutting up the snippets. So just let anyone know once they grab the mic, they're being recorded and the content's being shared out. So good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning. How are you, Tonya? How are you, Michelle? I'm excited to have you on today.
Good morning. How is everybody this fabulous Monday?
I just can't believe it's July. That's great.
I know. I looked at the calendar yesterday and I was just like, how are we here already?
I don't know. It happens every year, though.
I know. June becomes like the whole summer, I feel like just becomes like fast forward.
Yeah, definitely. People are traveling, so I'm seeing them getting stuck in airports right now.
So we usually start the day with Terry joining in, so she should be here soon. If everybody could, can you please retweet this space? And I'm going to be, Emily's going to grab the mic on this for a few minutes, and I'm going to retweet it on.
You got it. And I just saw Terry message. I feel like is my internet weird? I'm getting an echo on my end. Or can you?
Yeah, you have a slight echo.
Okay. I'm actually, when Tonya comes back, I'll probably pop back in just to see if I can fix that.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and do that? Because I'm gonna go grab my microphone. That's what not my microphone, but my stand for my microphone.
Okay, Michelle, just give us 1 second. We'll be right back in.
Oh, I'm good. I'm just resharing on Instagram.
Okay, perfect.
Good morning, Terry. Oh, there she is.
Hi.
How are you? Emily should be back in a few seconds. I'm just really happy we're here in South Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I just tagged you guys on my Instagram. And I shared the link.
There you go, Emily. How does it sound?
Any better than before? Fantastic. Yeah. Okay. That's good.
Everybody sounds good.
I sent you the co-host feature, Emily, if you want to grab that. So what I'm going to do is, before we start, I want to welcome everyone to our Monday Empower Yourself Monday, where we feature our communicator for the week. And we want to, pretty much the space is about sharing their story, their triumph, their failure, everything that's where they experience to be where they are today. Because I think if we lead by example by showing different stories of different empowered women, we in turn will empower other women and men. So today our special guest is Michele Bellisari, and she goes by at SoBoca. I love that hashtag, by the way. I mean, your Twitter handle. And so, we actually had Michele on as one of our, when we used to do an Empower Yourself luncheon. She was one of our speakers. So I love catching up with her. And again, today we're going to go ahead and before we start, we're going to have Terry give us our Monday morning breathing exercise because we all need to take a breath and get ourselves geared to this upcoming week. The mic is yours, Terry.
Thank you, Tonya. Welcome, everybody. Wherever you are, sitting, standing, laying down, go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Again, inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. One more time. Inhale. Hold it. And nice deep exhale. Letting it all go. Keeping your eyes closed. Relax your face. Relax your jaw, your neck, your shoulders. Allow the stress go down your arms and out through your fingertips. Relax your chest, your torso, your hips. Allow the stress to go down your legs, out through your toes, releasing any of that tightness in your lower back. You're completely relaxed, eyes still closed, gently breathing in and out through your nose. Just think about your breath, gently going in and out. Any thoughts that come through your mind, allow them to float away like clouds in the sky while you refocus on the air going in and out through your nose. Take another deep breath in through your nose. Hold it. Exhale. And a bit of closing thoughts. Whatever is exposed to the light itself becomes light. Invoke divine light to shine within you and reach into your shadow areas. Allow the healing power of this light to dissolve all that wounds your spirit and so restore your health. Namaste. May the divine in me honor the divine in you. Thank you.
I don't know about you guys, but that was incredible.
Thank you, Tonya.
So I'm gonna give the mic to Emily. Good morning, Emily. How are you?
Good morning, Tonya. I am doing well. How are you today? Feeling relaxed now, right?
Yeah, definitely. I needed that actually.
Me too. Every Monday. It's always my favorite part of starting the morning here. So yeah, I'm excited to introduce Michele today. And I'm going to go ahead and read your bio here, Michele, so everyone can know how amazing you are, like we know. But Michele actually, and again, she's SoBoca. So SOOO Boca is her her Twitter name, her Twitter handle, I believe on Instagram as well. And so follow her today and always. And let's see. So Michele Bellisari, she began her real estate career in 2003. And after successful employment as a top producer at a Fortune 500 consumer health products company, she segued into pharmaceutical sales. She's a successful six-figure solo agent who's passionate about real estate. She's also the host of In the Hive with Michele B podcast. It was an Inman Innovator finalist in 2019. She's also the founder and creator of hashtag SoBoca Lifestyle, which is a popular hyper-local blog and media company highlighting real estate, events, things to do, and businesses around South Florida. Michele is recognized as an engaging, high-energy speaker, a trainer, and panelist. She's spoken for the National Association of Realtors, Inman Connect Las Vegas, South Florida TechCon, Women's Council of Realtors, and RE/MAX. And she was one of 7 agents chosen to be a social media influencer for RE/MAX R4 2020's global conference. Michele's topics of expertise include content creation, social audio, hyperlocal influencing, and real estate niches. She's also creator of the Probate Real Estate Bootcamp and is a frequent podcast and webinar guest on the topic of leveraging listing niches in real estate. She's been featured in Florida Realtor Magazine, Florida Association of Realtors Take 5 Spotlight videos, RIS Media, and a frequent influencer, marketer, and educator for Homes.com. She's also a UF graduate, a mom of adult daughters, Kylie and Allie, and they are all over social with her as well. I love watching your videos with them, Michele. And she and her husband, Andy, have lived in Boca Raton for over 40 years. She loves to fish on the Belisari and hang out with their dogs, Brody and Benny. And you will see her all around Boca and South Florida, coming to different events. We love seeing you out there, Michele. And we're so excited to have you with us here today.
Oh my God, who is that person? It's so weird when you hear your own bio, but I actually just tweaked it. So my first takeaway today is, hey, make sure you tweak your bio and that it reflects all the great stuff you're doing and where you're going. And if you're on different podcasts and webinars, start a spreadsheet and start saving them so that you can build your, your earned media capital, right, Emily?
Absolutely. So important. No, that earned media is so important nowadays, and it becomes content. So you can just leverage that straight into all your social content and everything else.
Exactly. Well,
But
thank you guys for having me on today.
We're so excited about
We're
this.
thrilled.
We wanted to have you on again for a while.
Oh, cool. Well, I'm excited. I mean, listen, I love what you guys do, gals do, people do. And I just think it's fantastic. So thank you.
So, go ahead, Tom.
No, I'm just kind of curious because, I live in Boca too, and Michelle's been here for a long time. And I always wonder, like she asked me today, she goes, what are we talking about? I'm like, we're talking about you, Michele. Digital media blogger. But, I also would like to highlight that she's an early adopter to digital media. And that's what I want to talk a little bit more about. And then when you think about bloggers, back in 2010, people are like, oh, bloggers, who's going to listen? Who's going to read bloggers? Who's going to pay attention? And now, when you look at blogging, and it's like part of communication, but it's like one of the most powerful platform and anything for anyone to do when you start creating a blog. So that's the one thing I wanted to make sure everyone highlight about you, because I've met a lot of real estate agents and different people, different business, entrepreneurship, and different things, but I've never met when you meet Michele, you will understand what I'm talking about. Emily, what I'm saying. And actually, Terry, you met Michele. She was one of our speaker at Empower Yourself at the Embassy Hotel.
Oh, okay.
Remember? Yeah.
Yes.
She's like sunshine.
Oh, you
I
guys
thought the
so
name sounded
today.
familiar. Yeah.
Am I not right, Emily? Like
I'm
she comes in, she's like the sunshine that comes in. Like whatever you picture her, she is with her voice and everything. She reflects that, and like just she walks in a room, and even though she doesn't know anybody, she's just sunshine. So I want to let people know that.
Thank you so much.
She's also a bit of a daredevil. I have to throw that one in there. I remember that one of the first events that I got the opportunity to really get to know Michele was at an event for Boca Bacchanal, and we had these cars that were taking people around to different places. Remember that? And
I was there.
Yes, and Michelle's like, which one's the fastest? Which one's the one? And it was so great. In that moment, I was like, I love this woman. This is fantastic.
Oh, I love cars. I do love cars. And the funny thing is, there's another great local blogger here, Michelle Olson Rogers, Modern Boca Mom. And if you remember, I had my daughter, Allie, who goes professionally by Hallie Alicia Photography. She's a photographer. She's fabulous. So threw me under the bus. Michele said, "So what was your mom like growing up?" And that was it. And I just was like, looked at Allie, said, "Seriously?" She's like, "Well, I'm just being truthful." And then Michele and I ended up doing, and we can't find the whole Facebook Live, but she came over. We did a Facebook Live on old Boca mom versus new Boca mom. And I was like,
Oh,
y'all cannot do what we got away with, because my girls are 27 and 32. And I said, "Oh, the stuff that we got away with. Oh my God." Like it was, I mean, you couldn't today, like, and we've never laughed so hard. She's a sweetheart. I love her. And I really credit her for encouraging and mentoring me, because I just turned 60 in April. So I am in a different chapter, but it wasn't an issue. Like, she's like, I remember her saying to me at the Addison at an influencer event for Halloween, just some very encouraging words. And I just loved that she did that. And I consider her a very good friend.
I adore her as well. And I love hearing that. Women empowering women is like my favorite thing in the world. And we're going to have her on our show. Actually, I'm not sure exactly what week she signed up for, but she will definitely be joining us on one of these Mondays as well.
Yep.
And we're excited to talk to her.
Yep. She's really smart, brilliant, beautiful, and just knows
and
her
like
stuff.
the nicest person too.
Oh, yeah.
Like and I think that's all right. So I feel like a lot of people who especially don't live in Boca have a certain idea of what people in Boca are like. And I think you and both of you just absolutely flip that on its head and tell people, like, there's
It's
a lot of
probably
different
because
people.
we've been here a long time. So I moved here when I was 15. My dad started the first water slide that was down in Lighthouse Point, and I moved here between 10th and 11th grade, went to Boca Raton High, which at the time was the only public high school here. There was like 2 private schools in Boca High, and then a couple of, I think, religious schools, like St. Joan and whatnot. And at the end of the day, I think when you grow up around a smaller town feel, and at the time, even though Boca is really not that big, people think it's a lot bigger than it is. At the time, it was a different vibe. People had lived here a long time, and so Michele grew up here too. So I think that might have something to do with it, and we're connected through other people. So I can say, like, the people I went to high school with, I'm also connected to some of their siblings and whatnot, because it's just a smaller feel if you've been here a long time versus the new vibe that's here. It is a very wealthy community. It's very philanthropic, which we love about that. And we love the fact that people are moving here. I'm a realtor, so I love talking about Boca, but my narrative about Boca is a little less on the money side and a little more on the here's like for everyone side. You know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of the premise of SoBoca, which was very tongue in cheek when I started it, because somebody cut me off, and I called Kylie and I said, "I have a really good idea." She goes, "What?" And I said, "Well, freaking cut me off, some expletive." And she's like, "Oh," and I said, "That's SoBoca." That's how I kind of started off with the idea of SoBoca, but then it morphed, and to share the everyday average Boca person, like, what are we doing? We're going to the beach. We're going to the public beach. We're not going necessarily to the beach club, we're going to the public beach. We're going to the public parks. We're going to Meisner Park. We're, not necessarily in a gated community, which there's lovely ones here, by the way, but I just made it a little more broad.
And then, so this is the thing that I always wonder when it comes to, as you just said, actually, like going a little more broad with it and all, and then now bringing it down into these niches, because as we mentioned in your bio, you speak a lot about focusing on a niche. So I know you decided not to focus, as you said, on the money, bring it really broad, talk about the real Boca, like what actually people are doing to live there and all of that, which is phenomenal. And then you brought that into the niche of real estate. So at what point did you say, you know what, like I can bring all this together and this is how I'm going to do that?
Yeah, that's such a great question because I struggled with it. And I am a niche queen. I love niches, especially my real estate business. And I came from uh, consumer health products and worked with products like Listerine, Lubriderm, Schick, Benadryl, like big products, but we would niche them down locally and do fun events that tied into local, you know, things going on. So I would work with Publix, and at the time it was Ecker Drugs, and then became CVS and whatnot. But when the market turned in 2008 for real estate, which there's a lot of chatter about that again, because we've had a shift in the market. It's normalizing, not a crash, not a bubble, just normalizing, getting a little back to 2019, which was a great market, by the way. But I shifted into working with listing niches because I was going to have to leave real estate. I just couldn't continue to work with just buyers all the time. It wasn't sustainable. And I started to work with probate properties, seniors that downsize, and it morphed into a little divorce work as well, working with those folks that needed to, were motivated to, had to sell their properties. That's vastly different than just farming a neighborhood. So that's how I niched down and I was able to stay in real estate. And then with SoBoca, I really liked the aspect of having a creative outlet. And real estate is very intense, like many businesses are. But it's a 24/7 kind of feel. And when you're on, and there's not a lot of outlet. So I was like, I like to write and I really love social media. And let me start something that isn't real estate related, just all about Boca, which was the niche. Boca was the niche. But, and this is why it's so important, and I stress this to real estate agents all the time, to have your fabulous five that you can bounce ideas off of, right? And I finally said, I think I need to actually have my picture as on the header of my blog, SoBoca.com, but I need to start adding real estate to this. This is a missed opportunity. And the overwhelming response was, hell yes. Why are you not putting it on there? And I thought, well, I didn't want to be all salesy. I didn't want to be all, you know, in your face about real estate all the time. And I figured out a really good balance with that. And so there is real estate on SoBoca.com. I talk about real estate in blog posts, but not all the time. But you can clearly see that I am a real estate agent, that I am a realtor, and that this is what I do for a living. And if you happen on my blog and you happen to be interested in real estate, now I've got a lead gen product, and that's exactly what's happened. My YouTube channel and my blog are both in the Google world. As much as I like Instagram, they're starting to tick me off. And I'm not spending as much time over there because I'm concerned about not having control over my own content, which is why I have my own blog. It's not connected to my brokerage. And I'm taking what I'm doing and repurposing my content over, to Google My Business. So I'm really focused on the SEO component. And I think that's the drive. And so that's what made sense with tying in the real estate to the lifestyle that's here. Because typically what I was finding is people would reach out to me because of something fun that I posted about our area. And so it just started making sense to add the real estate, add my listings. So, like, I had a great open house this weekend. I made sure that I posted that as a reel on Instagram, but I'm sharing it all over the place so that if God forbid Instagram decides to shut me down or some hacker hacks me, which is going on a lot, I've still got my content in other locations. And in particular, YouTube, Google My Business, and my blog. The whole Google suite is like, I'm all in on that right now.
Yeah, we agree with you.
We
agree with
do.
you.
I'm
We think
exhausted from Instagram's crap. I mean, come on, guys. You missed the boat when Snapchat came. You're never catching up. Never. And I'm tired of them telling me what I need to do so that I get more views. I don't care at this point. they've just irritated me, and I've had several friends get hacked and they can't get their accounts back.
And that's what we've been preaching that for a while on the show and just across the board with clients and everything, is that you have to own your own content. You can have it on Facebook, you can have it on Instagram, but if Zuckerberg shuts it all down tomorrow, or Meta, whatever, if they shut it all
Whatever
down,
they are, yeah.
you lose all your content. So if you're not syndicating onto your own blog, onto your podcast, onto your own website, and doing Google, and really and YouTube, is really a humongous search engine for everyone. So if you're not syndicating and putting your own content out like that, you stand the chance of losing it all.
Exactly. And it's just really frustrating that this is, it's all Facebook. So, just be smart about it. That's what I say. So I have certain groups on Facebook that are specific to SoBoca, and I drop my real estate content in there too. It's not just my content. I get a lot of information. So for example, Florida Realtor is our big organization here in the state. They put out an email every day. So agents that are listening to this, you've got pre-made content here. Right now, it's very timely to put things out there about Surfside and what's going to happen with changes in the condo market. It's going to be substantial and it's going to be big. And if you are not understanding what's happening with these condos that don't have reserves and they're not raising their maintenance fees, it's a problem. Insurance infects all of us. If we are homeowners or purchasing a home, we have a problem in the state right now with insurance and getting insurance for homes that have roofs that are older than 10, 15 years, which is a load of crap. But here we are. So now you're almost at a point going, hey, how old's that roof before you ask anything else about a property you're going to show? Because if my client can't get insurance, it's a dead deal. And that happens if someone's financing, because it's a part of the loan contingency. So there's all these little things that specifically to realtors that they can do to grab content and share it without worrying about creating content every day. If you're not in real estate and you are a business owner, I think business owners do not take advantage of social media and the platform where their audience is enough. I see businesses struggling a lot. I know you guys do. And at the same time, I'm like, they're not posting anything. Just putting a post out is not going to do it. You need to have engaging content. And I know that's why so many of these business owners get frustrated, because it takes time to create content, number one. And number two, being consistent. Well, the time thing is, hey, take an hour every week and do 10 videos. Do 10, 15-second videos, bing, bang, boom, you're done. Not sure what to do? Go look at what your competitor is doing. Go look at a restaurant out in California. Go look and see what other people are talking. Google it. Go to answerthepublic.com, put in your topic. You're going to come up with 10 topics. Bing, bang, boom. Get those little videos out there. And if you don't want to be on video, that's okay. Get someone who does, or do a voiceover on it or something. But video is number one right now. And it's like you can't ignore it.
You are right there. Video is trending like crazy above anything else right now. So yes, jump on it. And you said the key there, which is you don't have to show your face. You can, but faceless videos are trending just as well. Mm-hmm. So it's just video. But I also you mentioned something that I think is so important. I think a lot of the reason that not a lot of the reason, you're right, content and bulking content really does help with the time factor. But a lot of people are simply afraid or embarrassed or, concerned, as you mentioned, like promoting themselves too much. Like, what happens if I start to seem spammy, or I start to seem like I am talking about myself too much? And I think especially as women, we tend to get that into our heads of oh, I'm over promoting, and I feel like men have gotten ahead in the world because they don't have that same concern always. And women need to be promoting themselves more. So how did you overcome that feeling of maybe I'm promoting? I mean, you said it's a balance, but what tips can you offer for people who maybe are thinking that they are, it's shameful, or they don't want to be promoting themselves all the time? What can they be doing?
I think you can share other people's content that are in your space. So I think you can balance that. I think women in general are challenged with a couple of things. We don't want to talk about money, and we don't want to necessarily come off as the badasses that we really are. And I can assure you that any real estate conference I go to is guy heavy, and it's not a man thing, bashing thing. It just is problematic when 50% of the women in real estate are, 50% of the people in real estate are women, and 62% are over the age of 50. And yet every conference I go to, I can tell you what the lineup is. We're working on trying to improve that, because it ends up excluding people that are a little bit older, or people that are midlife, or people that are, oh yeah, women. It's not, it's like, but what I do is I take away that confidence factor, and I'm like, there we go, I got a blueprint now, that's exactly what I'm going to do. But there's a nice way to do it. You got to be you, and you got to be authentic. And I do suggest that whatever your industry is, look outside your industry and watch other industries and how they're branding themselves, or how they're promoting themselves. And I think that's the one thing that I seemed to understand in regard to, like, talking about what my audience wants to hear. What are their struggles? When you do, here are 5 tips to help you jumpstart your week, for example. I'm not talking about real estate. I'm not talking about SoBoca. I'm just talking to you, saying, hey, I struggle with this too. I need to have a better diet. I need to make sure I'm not sitting at my computer and not walking or doing some sort of exercise every day. I need to be touching on my sphere of influence, my SOI. For those of you who don't know really what that is, that's your database. I think when you start doing things that are helpful, that touch into the arenas that other women are struggling with, then you're not having to promote yourself. And I've said this for so long. I'm like, with SoBoca, I never have to talk about real estate. I have to acknowledge that I'm a realtor. We have certain guidelines saying, listen, I'm a realtor, but I don't need to talk about real estate to sell people on the fact that I'm a real estate agent here in South Florida. And I think that's the key, is thinking outside of what your product or brand is, and see where you can collaborate with other people and other industries, right? And explore. And then you're not being all salesy. And frankly, I don't think we should really worry about it that much, but we do.
I think that's great advice, because you're right. People do. Those of us coming from marketing and PR, we're like, do it, talk about yourself, get it out there. That's the only way to get it out there. But I know that a lot of people just struggle with that. So great advice on that end.
But isn't it almost like the art of conversation also? I think when you blog, I always thought about that. You don't want to come across like you're selling in a sense, but the art of conversation, when you go to a networking event, you don't really go up to people and say, hey, this is what I do, buy from me. It's more like the conversation. Oh, I love those shoes. I love your purse. I love, it's the art of conversation. I'm actually on your blog, actually, Michele. So I'm getting ready to post something, celebrate 4th of July in South Florida style. So I just want to let you know that. But I feel that's the art of conversation. That's the art of conversation, because you're talking about something that's happening, that's relevant. 4th of July is what, I can't wait for 4th of July. And South Florida, we do have a good time down here, and the beach is open. We're having fun. But, if you're not from Boca and you're not from South Florida, it's nice to read stuff about what we're doing down here. So that's why I always think about the art of conversation is such a key factor, even if you don't see someone in front of you, but reading it from a blog standard, blog point of view of the author themselves is so important. So that's what I want to let you know.
Well, here's a time hack for anybody. So I've been doing that same blog post for like 3 years or so. And what I do is I just go in every year, I update it, and then I repost it. So the content's there for the most part. It's just tweaking a few things. During the pandemic, it became really challenging because everything was canceled. So I was like, okay, what else can people do right now? And then I also will drop in other articles that we have on the blog about staycations. Especially right now, people are very budget conscious. somewhat have a recession looming as at the time of this recording. And people are, worried about money. So a lot of folks are putting the brakes on extensive travel. So maybe they want to do some light travel. We're an hour and a half from Key Largo. We are, 3 hours from Orlando. We're 2 hours to Vero Beach. If you want to run over to Naples, we have a lot of beautiful places here locally that you can do and daycation. And sometimes just a 24-hour reset is what we need, just to have better perspective in our personal life and also business. And I go down to the Keys a lot, and that's where I breathe a lot, like literally, like I'm like, okay, I'm here. And that's when I get creative and I kind of let go of things, because as a realtor, I am very accessible to my clients. But another hack that I've done over the years is I have blocked people on my phone for 24 hours if I'm not in the middle of a negotiation or anything like that, and they're driving me nuts. And there are some agents that will blow up your phone on a Saturday, every Saturday at 9 o'clock if you're working on something. And I'm like, and it's always something that can wait until Monday. I literally did that. I started doing that in 2019. I was like, I don't need to talk to this person today. If they want to reach me, they can send me an email though. So I'm a big fan of controlling access if you're like really being obnoxious about it. And I think many entrepreneurs have that same struggle. But there are ways that, you can control that time and allowing the access that people think it's fine to do that. It's not fine to text me at 11 o'clock at night, but my phone's on silent, so I'm not going to get it anyway.
That's a big thing in the communications world as well. In PR, our clients tend to think that we're just robots that don't sleep. So we get a lot of late night texts or calls. We get a lot of emails on the weekends, calls on the weekends, all of that. And I actually started working with a boundaries coach. So what you're saying is pretty, is 100% spot on, of being able to manage the control of your own time. And like 6 months of boundary work and my whole life changed. So I think that's a huge thing. And again, it's for women especially, manage your time and set those boundaries. And it's okay to say no to things, and it's okay. Like that's such a big part of being able to balance it as much as you do too.
Absolutely. Boundaries are a big deal. And I know agents really struggle with it. It's a big topic of conversation. And, a lot of times in any business, you're afraid you're going to lose the deal if you say no. But, a lot of times just giving the option of, hey, I'm not available today, but I could go tomorrow at this time or the next day. In almost every instance, it's fine. But I think the fear of ticking off a potential client or, you know what? I have a life. You have a life. And by the way, if you are not that flexible, then maybe we're not a good fit. That's okay. But I need my life back. And that's when I started to list properties and I started to niche into listings. Then I got my time back because with listings, I have contracts signed. Buyers, we really don't have contracts signed. I mean, there's buyer agreements out there. I don't use them. But with listings, you have a signed listing agreement. Okay, there you go. Now you're listing the property, you're controlling the showings, you're controlling when you need to be there. And I'm not driving around for 6 hours showing property to someone who may or may not end up buying with me, because that's the big risk that agents take. So if you're working with a realtor as a buyer, be kind, be loyal. If they're doing a good job for you, please don't jump ship. And if you find a FSBO, ask them to help you, but that's the world I live in. So when I took back that control and said, I need to spend weekends with my girls and with my husband, and how am I going to do this? Well, listing to last. I'd heard that for years. And then I just take it a little further if need be. But I'm pretty accessible for the most part. It's just on the weekends, if it's really something we can't do until Monday, let's just wait until Monday.
I think that's great. And again, like as a parent, kids nowadays, I think more than they have over the past, like maybe even 10 years, they need their parents around right now. It has been rough for them for the last few years. So, and especially like older kids, the little ones I think enjoyed being home, but the older kids have had it rough for the last few years. So whether they're adults, whether they're teenagers, that's just so important, and take that time, because in the end, that's what counts. We have 20 minutes left on our call. Tonya, I wanted to see if anybody has any questions, or Terry, if you or Tonya have questions. No, I've been asking a lot.
So, Michele, we talked a little bit about that you utilize a lot of the Google Maps. I once met this Google person. They work for Google. They were telling me that a lot of agents are utilizing their Google Maps page. Are you using a lot of that as far as letting people know about yourself, about your content? Are you doing?
Yeah. So, this little platform called Clubhouse bubbled up in late 2020 for a lot of us. It was there, I think, in May of 2020. And I got to tell you, it was a game changer for me because I ended up connecting with very like-minded real estate agents globally. And the cool thing was, it was like every day we have this almost like a mastermind every day. I'm still on there every day with different groups of realtors. And Google My Business started bubbling up about last September. How important it was to have your Google business account. And I had one and it was terrible. And I didn't understand it. So in one of our rooms, one of the guys that I'm friends with from Pennsylvania, Derek, said, I'm a Google My Business like guru. I'm like, we're all like, what? He ended up doing a private training for all of us. And one of the things I needed to do was shut down my Google My Business and restart a new one under my new brokerage. And that's what I did. And then I took all of that learning. And by the way, you can go on Google, on YouTube, and you can Google starting your Google My Business account and whatnot. And as soon as I got that approved, it started working for me as far as generating phone calls, generating interest. I have a virtual assistant, and now I have her posting on there every day for me. So there's more consistency. And the Google Maps is kind of cool because that's where you can leave reviews and photos and whatnot. And there's a strategy to Google My Business and Google Maps. So I really think that if you're interested in doing that, go watch, like I said, a YouTube video. There's many of them out there, but you'll really start to understand the power of it because, again, it's SEO. And so if you're on YouTube and you're doing Google My Business and Google Maps, Google rewards that, right? So it takes a little time, but then you'll get into the groove of it. And you can become a verified, business on there and run, have them run ads for you. So there's some really good reasons to focus on Google and build your brand out there. And they, you can put videos on there and link your videos and whatnot. So I link YouTube videos there occasionally to build my YouTube views and content.
Yeah, I love that because I feel like not too many people are talking much about, Google My Business and different stuff. And like we utilize it all the time as much as we can. And I find that it helps a lot. And it also is good for, again, like you said, it says SEO is so important. So Michele, since you've been in Boca for so long and your kids are grown now, so am I, because I love watching your videos with your live stream with your daughters and stuff. Are they part of your branding? Are they part of your communication? Do you
Not
have a
really.
communication company?
No, it's more. I started off doing some influencer marketing. My main jam is real estate, and but I've thought about, building out something a little more substantial on the communication side for SoBoca. But again, there's only so much time in the day, and maybe I should talk to you folks about that because I've definitely thought about doing something. But real estate takes up a lot of time. So they will collab with me, but my daughter, Allie is what we call her. Hallie is an amazing photographer, has her own brand, Hallie Alicia Photography. and she is on Instagram. That's a big place for her. My other daughter, Kylie, is a flight attendant with Spirit. And she does a lot of food videos. And honestly, if you need someone who does amazing food videos or branding videos for food products and whatnot, she's fantastic. And she just started a picnic business up in Pittsburgh. So she's based in Fort Lauderdale flying, and then she's in Pittsburgh. She lives in Pittsburgh. We're working on getting them down here. She's engaged. And then Allie is also down here. So she does branding photo shoots, a lot of branding photo shoots now. She also does weddings, still engagements, and photo shoots for families and things like that. But a big chunk of her business now, which again I think is really brilliant, is focusing on what's more controllable. And the branding photo shoots, she's just doing more and more, and has a girl gang that is amazing. By the way, if you go on my blog, I did a whole thing on several of the women that she collabs with, and it's the Galentine's Day post that I did. And I'm so inspired by all of them. And I also love to share what they're doing on Instagram. So when I see the Wander Shop in Fort Lauderdale, I love Marissa, I share her things. Allie's got a friend who does the most gorgeous florals. I share her. Grays of Sunshine is Kylie's friend, Brooke, here in Boca. I share her. I love to share that stuff out. And then now that Kylie has this new picnic business, I'm sharing that out. So we do have some fun little collabs that we do together, but we are all separate.
Wow, it's like a perfect mixture of a really strong communication company there, Michele.
Okay, so we'll have to talk, because honestly, I would love that. I mean, I love the communication side of things. My degree is from the College of Journalism way back in the day. Advertising, never did advertising, but always worked for companies that had big ad budgets.
I love the pictures in here for your Galentine's Day. I'm going to share this out.
Oh, is that
Love
not
this.
fantastic? And
So
all
beautiful.
these,
Oh my God, look at the background.
I'm telling you, I mean, just fantastic. I mean, and some of them, they threw a 60th birthday party for me. Sorry, my dogs are barking. They threw a 60th
No worries.
birthday party for me, and it was a Studio 54 disco style birthday. I knew a little bit about it, but they basically made me sit in my room that day. I walked out, and one of her vendor friends did the balloon bouquet. Gorgeous. Another one did the grazing table. Gorgeous. Like, Marissa caught the best shots of us jumping in my pool at the end of the party because it was so freaking hot and we'd been dancing all night. I mean, to me, the girls were the ones who said, Mom, get on Snapchat in 2016. And this is what I'm going to leave with anyone who's listening to this. I was in my mid 50s, right? And they're on Snapchat, freaking taking snaps of me all day long. I finally threw some sort of nasty word at them and said, stop doing that. And they said, no, you should really get on there. So I got on Snapchat, and I'm like, I am going to own this. I got on Snapchat, and I started out snapping them. I started figuring out the filters. I started out how to brand it. And I connected with about 20 real estate agents. And at the time, Snapchat didn't have a lot of business people on there. Well, realtors, we're like flies to honey, bees to honey, whatever you want to call it. We jump on the newest, greatest social media stuff. You'll always see realtors flocking to everything, right? So I jump on there, and we ended up all connecting. We connected online, then we connected offline at a mastermind in Park City in 2017. That led to collaborations at events like Inman Connect, which is one of the largest real estate conferences in the world. We started collaborating with each other. We started promoting each other. I'm doing a webinar. I've got a course. I'm doing this. Let me tell you something. Flash forward to last year, for example, Florida Association of Realtors, who are speaking there. My dear friend Karen Carr, who started YouTube for Agents. My dear friend Chelsea Pites, who is an amazing Instagram guru. It's like you get on these platforms, you connect with people in your world, they become your friends in your world, and you learn from each other, and you're there for the good times and the bad times. right? So Snapchat really laid the foundation for me to move into Instagram. So when Instagram started really coming on my radar, because I was late to that party, doing video, short form video was like a no brainer because I'd been doing it for Snapchat already. And I was using the Snapchat filters because, oh, by the way, I'm 50-ish. And if you're 30 telling me not to use a filter, you can go, you know what? And I'm very vocal about that because I want women on social media and you're still authentic if you need a light filter. And that's my 2 cents on that. But here's the thing. Clubhouse came around, right? Oh, I'm going to jump on Clubhouse. Why? Because it's new. And I think that that's going to be a space for people that I know. And then look what's happened with TikTok. TikTok is the badass of social media right now. The algorithm's fun. They don't really care what they're doing. They're not overly picky. And you can put content on there all day long and grow your business, get leads, and close sales from it. I know realtors that are doing it. I know small businesses are doing it. And my friend Glenda Baker, if you don't know her, you got to watch her. She is a realtor in Atlanta. And this is not because she's a realtor. She puts damn good content out there. And by the way, she's in her 50s. She is the superstar in the real estate world right now, and rightly so, because she knows what she's talking about. She knows her audience. She gets her content. She's not doing stupid dances. And I love this woman, because she set a bar and a precedent, and she's made us all be better at what we're doing. And find that one person in your industry. Don't copy and rip off their stuff. Find stuff that you can make your own. But that's why I love my girls and I love their friends, because whatever's trending, they're on it. So I'm like, oh, I'm on it too.
I love that. I love that. And I always feel age is only a number because, Emily and I talk a lot about this. I think, we as communication, my agency, we always try to like look ahead of time, just like Emily does. And we're looking to Web3 now. And have you heard anything about Web3? Have you heard any? Because that's such a big thing now. Emily's doing stuff.
So I would love to hear more about that. And, here's the thing with age, it's not a problem until you're not included. It's not a problem until you're not included. And I'm seeing that. Now, one of the things I liked about Clubhouse is I didn't have to wait to be invited to the table. I just made my own table. And I say this all the time to women in particular. Don't wait for the guys to invite you to the table. Make your own table, make your own events, do your own thing, because there's definitely a line of demarcation, especially in real estate. And I'm kind of fed up with it. And so are a lot of the women I'm friends with, and they're not all my age, by the way. We're kind of tired of it. So we're starting to do things that are focusing more on women-centric activities and doing our own events, and women-only podcasts and women-only interviews and things like that, because it's gotten really old. And so don't wait to be invited to the table. Make your own table, pull your chair up, and just go for it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's one of the reasons why, like for me, it's Twitter Spaces. I think I didn't get into Clubhouse so much, but Twitter Spaces was where we met up and also meet so many great people. And like, for example, Amy here, like she's in the space. She's a friend of mine. We never met in person, like you were saying. We just hearing someone's voice during the time. I've been on Spaces for over a year now, and this is our episode 25 on Twitter Spaces. So again, it's you never know who you meet and who you connect with, and you learn so much from each other.
Absolutely. And that's what happened on Clubhouse. And by the way, on Clubhouse, I was at an in-person meetup in Clubhouse in October in Sarasota. And I think that's the important piece. These spaces are great, but if you really want to gel, the in-person piece is fantastic. And, safe space, obviously know who you're meeting up with. But I'll tell you what, I have text a group of 10 or 11 of us all that met on Clubhouse. We're all with different brands, all different companies, and we share all day long. None of us are in the same market for the most part. So we share. How are you doing that? How'd you get through that? How'd you do that event? How'd you sponsor that? How'd you do that? What kind of offer, how are you dealing with right now? And how'd you get through that? You know, like that's the piece where I think women don't always ask for a lot of help. And when you do ask for help, it's like, oh my God, that's a bloody miracle. Thank God. Thank you. Thank you. You know, I need help. And I know I'm a solo agent with a back end team, but anybody who flies solo as an entrepreneur, you know what that is. You're doing everything. That's why you have to leverage your time. That's why virtual assistants are very, very good business pieces to help you manage your time. Like I have a virtual assistant Monday through Thursday, and she coordinates my social media, not my content. Like I create my content, but she coordinates it out there. She helps admin my Facebook groups. She does research for me. She does lead gen for me for things that I'm working on. And I think it's okay to have that. Like, don't try and do everything because you can't possibly do everything. You're going to burn out. And burnout is real. You know, it's a real thing.
Burnout is absolutely a real thing, and it is not fun. So, and I think it's very disheartening when you hit that point and you're burning out and you don't know how to come back from that. So I think the support you're talking about in those groups help you come back from that also. And I think one exciting thing about today's day and age is women are more supportive of each other. It's no longer like the mean girls thing. We're all in it together and everyone's trying to support and empower each other. So you can ask for that help now without that like fear that you're just going to be faced with competition that's being nasty about it.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is too, but also go with your gut instinct. You know what you know. And if it's not feeling right or it's not feeling good, and by the way, the mean girls are still out there. They are out there, and you know it pretty quickly. I mean, it doesn't matter at any age. They're there for whatever stupid reason. And I could list a ton of reasons, but you know, try not to be that mean girl, but they're there, you know, they're there and you know when they're there. And you just have to, like I always say, your vibe attracts your tribe, and go with people that appreciate you and what you bring to the table, not someone who is secretly jealous or envious of your success. And trust me when I tell you, there's a ton of women out there who are like that, and shame, 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 but you aren't going to change them.
You are right on that. And your vibe attracts your tribe. There will always be people who are attracted to what you're doing if you put it out authentically.
You got that one right.
So we do have, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just like, it's 10:57. I can't believe it went by so quickly.
I was just going to say the same thing. It went by really quick, but this has been an amazing conversation.
I'm enjoying it. Thank you, guys. I have a showing to do at 11:30. So how about that? I'm all dressed. That's the nice thing about audio social platforms. It's like I can do my makeup. I can do my hair. I'm not on video. I'm getting ready.
Multitasking as is best for
At
all of
its
us.
best. I have 9 pairs of shoes in my car, so I don't even have to worry about shoes right now.
I love that. That's like a realtor thing too.
Oh my God. It was a pharmaceutical rep thing too. I like, as soon as I get in my car, I kick my shoes off. Does anybody else do that? I kick them off. They're gone.
Same, 100%.
So my husband's like, geez, what is going on? I'm like, well, you know, I got high heels. I got low heels. I got flats. I got acrylics. I got, you know, flip-flops, whatever. Take your choice.
I think that's all I have in my car most of the time. And my tripod, because just in case I have to go live stream
Oh my
somewhere.
God. I have my tripod in my car too. That's so funny. I love my tripod. By the way, you can get them on Amazon. They're not expensive. You know, it's always good to have a portable one that closes, can be small or large.
That's going to have to be another space right there. Just the things you need to do before you live stream.
Oh,
that'd be like
yeah.
a Tech Tuesday conversation, right, Emily?
Oh, and lastly, I did get SoBoca trademarked back in 2018. So it's a trademarked brand. And I did that specifically because I felt like I would do other things with it, which I'm working on. So it's mine. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's really important. And when you brand yourself, I'm a firm believer that really think of who you are as a brand. Hashtag Sandy sells whatever is not a brand. Like think about who you are, what your brand is. Can you talk about it all the time? Do you love it? I asked somebody the other day, I said, are you married to what you're putting out there all the time, another realtor? And she's like, well, I said, I'm just asking because I don't know if that's really like what you want to do. Like, is there something better that you can leverage that talks more about what you're doing? So I'm going to land my plane there because I know we're done and I have to run.
I love it. So before we let you go there, Michele, can you tell our listeners how to get a hold of you?
Sure. You can send me a text. You can send me a DM anywhere on Instagram at SoBoca, S3Os Boca. I'm on Facebook. You can send me a text message. That was one of my dogs that I adopted. I'm pretty easy to find on social media. SoBoca.com is my blog. So if you have any real estate needs, feel free to reach out to me, Michele B. I'm happy to help you out with anything that you need real estate wise. And if you want to do a collaboration for your brand or product, reach out to me. I love doing brand.
Thank you, Michele and Emily. I'll let you do some closing thoughts. And again, you can listen to the replay. You can go on our website, awcsouthfloridaspelledout.org. Michele will be featured on the front page of our website for the whole week. And also, you can listen to a replay on Twitter Spaces, YouTube, Facebook, all this wonderful platform.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to say thank you, Michele. It was great to have you on today. And I know everyone's going to be following along with what you're doing. And I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This was so much fun to start my week off with.
Thank you, Michele.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. And we will be back next Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll be featuring another Empower Yourself Monday. Thank you, everyone. Have a great Monday. Stay motivated.